Welcome along to another edition of the Semi-Pros. Great to have your company. Myself be joined, of course, by the fellow Semi-Pros, Joel Stower, Troy Gursky and Steve Glover. Huge show on the way. Our special guest is Michael Witt, formerly, of course, from Toowoomba, the Garden City. Took his career right across the world. A wonderful story, and we look forward to talking to him on the show. He'll be up shortly as one of our special guests. We head out to the Southern Hotel. We're going to play Jag the Joker. Can someone Jag the Joker tonight? Thanks to the Southern Hotel. We'll have a look at our shot clock segments as we continue our look back at different eras involving Michael Jordan as a part of that series. And then also a question that everyone has talked about, I think, at some stage. Which shoes were the best, the worst, the ugliest when it comes to the signature sports shoes? We all had them in some variety. That is our question in our Hogan's Family Jewelers, Rocks and Diamonds. So that's all coming up. Stay with us. The Semi-Pros is on now.
Not much talent run around in our own backyard.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Semi-Pros. The Semi-Pros. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Let's go.
Fantastic to be back with you for another week. Welcome to the show. Steve Glover, how are you?
Good, mate. Another week on. Geez, they're flying by at the moment.
It's all happening. Yeah.
Counting down the time to get some sort of sport on TV. Might have to head down Harvey North and grab a big screen, get all set up, ready to go.
We're getting closer. Joel Stower, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate. It's getting cooler too, isn't it? I tell you what, the days are getting shorter and the weather's getting colder and windier and all the rest of it.
Yeah, pretty bleak.
Looking
Troy
forward
Gursky.
to the footy. One more week.
Yeah, we're nearly there. This time, 7 days. 7 days and beyond.
Belting the Bronx, 56-0 again. That'll be
7 days. 7 days. That's on. Troy Gursky, you look pretty warm and rugged up over there.
Yeah, mate. She's starting to get a bit cool, isn't it? You know, it's footy season when she's getting cold, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it kicking off next week, next Thursday. Bronx and the Eels. We have a showdown between
What a game!
Jolie here.
What a
What are we
game.
both 2-0?
Yeah, butter.
Yeah, both 2-0. So.
Top of the table class, Troy.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So,
Really?
how many refs are we going to have? Are we going to have refs?
Just
Probably
the one of
three.
them on.
Huh? We're going to have refs or what? They've made the news this week about a bit of a dispute.
What are they mediating today? Don't know what
Well,
happened.
They got a week to work
Maybe
it
it might
out.
be still into it. It might be still butting heads.
Yeah, they got a week to work it all out. So, but your kickoffs in a week, and then what have we got? We're going to have Origin at the end of the season, and
3 weeks
We
in a
get-
row. Bang, bang, bang.
straight into it. So,
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
November, I think.
Yeah.
In between the Indian cricket games. It'll be good. There won't be much work going on.
Which will also coincide with Cup Week, won't it?
Yeah, you'd think so. The first one might.
You see what Melbourne look like having? Was
Yeah.
the Cox playing the Saturday? What was on the Friday night? They had something as well.
Then they
Then they had the
the
grand
AFL
final on the Sunday. Saturday night as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez,
And
that'll
then
be
also,
good.
and then you go the week later, they were talking about, so Cup Day be the Tuesday, and then Origin 1 or 2, one of the Origin games would be Wednesday.
No one will be
Yeah.
working.
How good's life?
Yeah, let's just get
It's
there.
always-
But yeah.
Always something good to come out of it, isn't there, at the end of the day? So.
I wonder where the Queen's birthday weekend will be now in Queensland. Will they push it back to the NRL Grand Final, or has that stayed the same?
Good question.
I think it has stayed the same, hasn't it? And that's why
That
they've
first one
shortened
in
the comp,
October.
or I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So, funny, that's all coming up. That's on next week. Now, before we get to our special guest, Troy Gursky, you featured in a pretty cool little, podcast, I suppose, during the week with Indoor Cricket Australia. Tell us about that. That was fascinating for those that watched it. We shared it on our Semi-Pros page and was on there Thursday, whatever night it was, the other night, last night, Tuesday, Wednesday. Anyway, whenever it was on, tell us a bit about it. It was unreal.
Yeah, I suppose with all the COVID-19 stuff happening, the boys wanted to get something out with Indoor and Cricket Australia. Got together with a couple of fellas from Indoor Cricket Australia, and they wanted to do best games in history. So they went back to 2009, our World Cup final here in Australia. It was interesting. It was good to go back and have a look and reminisce a bit about it and actually see how good the game was. And yeah, for us, we were lucky to come out in the right end of the table. But yeah, it was good. Actually, they did a really good job. It came out really well and getting some really good feedback out. I think they're going to move forward a few more. So.
The only criticism I have of it, couldn't they have included a bit more of the Kiwis, or was it just all about you blokes?
Well, we asked the Kiwis, but
oh really?
Yeah. So they approached the Kiwis, but they declined. So they approached the captain, and he's declined. I've spoken to a few blokes since, and apparently he doesn't talk about that day at all. Like he still hasn't got over it. It's 11 years down the track. So yeah, they approached him, then they approached one or two others, and they declined as well. So yeah, Kiwis didn't want to participate in it. So yeah, not much.
Tell you one thing. You go, Jack.
Might have been different if they give that run out where he was out by about 3 metres.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Mate, it was funny. It's funny you say that, Glove. I had blokes from New Zealand messaging me after it, saying the same thing. Oh, run out. They said, "Oh, we would have won." I said, "Oh, you might have won, but yeah." They said, "Was it out?" I said, "Yeah, I told you it was out."
But you know,
me and Bubs always give each other a fair ribbon on careers. But mate, no wonder you got a bad back. Geez, you carried that team across the line. I've never seen anything like it. A bloke just put them on the shoulders and say, "Come on, boys, let's go."
It was
a bit of strife there.
We were in strife, mate. Yeah, I was saying on the podcast thing that I was out the back getting ready with Jay to bat last, and we actually didn't see what was going on. But at one stage, I thought we'd be chasing 40. We were losing that many wickets. But yeah, it was a good game, mate. Everyone that saw that game, we've always said it was one of the best I've ever seen. It was just because it seesawed so much, you know. We could have lost it 4 or 5 times, and same with the Kiwis.
So have a look at that. We shared it on the Semi-Pros page. It's well worth tuning in and having a look at. So have a look at Bubs in all his glory. I think, Steve, you made comment to it as well. Just you're an athlete back in the day.
Oh, I'm on Google now trying to find a picture of it. I'll tell you what, talk about running your career backwards, or Benjamin Button.
Yeah, that's what I said a few of the boys. And I was getting better nick in about 2000, about 5 years afterwards. I was thinking of coming back. I was feeling better.
Yeah. From all the good times on the drink, mate, wasn't it?
Oh, who knows, mate? Would have been a couple in there, I'd say. Yeah.
Had a fair lock of hair combed over the top too.
Yeah, that went. Yeah.
It's like a young.
It went during that game, mate. During the game, it went.
Yeah, that's understandable. Zach might find a bit of that during the show. We might put it up a bit later. So from that particular doco that was on there, what was it called again? Like it's
great.
The Last Dance, I think it's called.
Like that.
What did Matty Dennis say? The Carl Malone of indoor. Or is that the Kiwis?
Must have been. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they had like some pretty handy cricket going on there. Who was that? Sonny
Chan.
Yeah. I'll tell you what,
he was zipping it, wasn't he?
The Asian Kiwi, he was pretty handy in the field too.
Yeah, you see, he's pretty athletic, wasn't he? Like he played first. Sonny played first class cricket. He was an open bowler. He bowled, 135 to 140 clicks type of thing. So
it looked handy.
Yeah.
I think there's a question there from Brendan Smith. I think it's directed at you, Joel. Is that Dave Dugan?
Yeah.
Who's that? So Joel's alter ego. Alter ego's got to mention. He's apparently making a comeback at some stage. So, but anyway, we might talk a bit more about that with Troy and an amazing feat there. And as I said, Zach might get a bit of that footage for us a little bit later in the show. But without further ado, we have a special guest joining us this week. Very privileged to have him on the show, formerly from Toowoomba. Started his career, of course, with the Newtown Lions, went on to play at the highest level, the NRL in Australia and as well overseas, and also dabbled in a bit of rugby. Sells houses on the Glitter Strip now, so he's done a bit of everything. So he's our special guest. He's up next, Michael Witt.
Next the tackle with Tahu. Play back to Michael Witt. Witt goes himself. He goes inside the 30, up to the 20-metre line. Rushes away. It would be tackle from McKinnon. Then he throws to dummy. He'll score Michael Witt. He's mesmerised them. Puts it over the line. 34-8 now.
So Michael Witt joins us. Joel's pretty dirty. We picked that highlight out to introduce you. But how are you, mate?
Disgraceful.
Have we got him there? So I don't know if we can hear. Can you hear us?
I can't hear him.
No, we can't hear him.
I can't either.
So log out and come back in. Woody, and we'll have him back here. So, yeah, but we picked out a highlight there, so where he's playing for Manly. So you might ask him there as well. So cross the line and then start stretching.
I love that. I love about that Parrell flogging him 34-4. Yeah.
Yeah. So
They probably blew that lead and lost it.
Chance.
Looking at some of the highlights of his career now. So he's some highlights even when he played with New Zealand. A couple of interesting stories to come of that time there when he was involved with the Warriors. But you want to ask him about that highlight there before he crossed the line, scored for Manly and then into the full stretch. So we got him now. Can you hear us?
I'm back. Yes, mate. It said that the host had muted my mic. I thought Angie, my wife, had taken over and muted me, but you brushed me.
She couldn't be so lucky.
Mate, great to have you with us. Tell us, what are you doing now? Life's good on the Gold Coast?
Yes, life's great on the coast, mate. I sell real estate down here with another Toowoomba, the Toowoomba guy in Connell Martin. So I live in Broadbeach Waters. Our office is located in Burleigh Head. So, mate, loving life.
Oh, excellent. So in a good part of the world. Now, heard you on a podcast a few weeks ago, and they sort of went back through the journey of your career, and it sort of, we've known you and seen what you did from around Toowoomba, but to listen to you on that and to hear some of the stories you told of your career, you must look back on it now when you got the chance to talk through it and think, well, yeah, you achieved some pretty special things.
Yeah, I don't know about achieving special things, but it was certainly a bit of a journey. We sort of played all around the world and were lucky enough to do it for, I guess, an extended period. So, it was good to look back on it. Obviously, with no sport on, they're pretty hard up for people to interview to be giving me a call. But, mate, it was good fun. Yeah,
we've got a couple of highlights here of you playing for New Zealand where you played some of your best footy, particularly that season where you guys came from 8th, knocked off Melbourne in the first round. That was an incredible run from the Warriors, and you had such a huge part to play in that.
Yeah, it was a really good run. It was we started the year pretty quietly. We were a little bit behind the 8 ball with about sort of 8 to 10 weeks to go, and nobody thought we could make the semis. But we all started to grow beards, and next minute we
most talented, best player you've ever played with.
Best, most talented, I think, was probably Jamie Lyon. I only played with him for a short period of time. Most talented, I think he was. The best player, probably Ben Kennedy. The year we went to Manly, I went to Manly. He was his first year in Manly, and he was just he was a cut above the rest. He was just such a passionate guy, and I'd say he was probably the best I played with.
And just last one, mate, before you go. Obviously, down at the Dragons, you spoke about. We obviously didn't touch on it here, but in that podcast, you spoke about doing a little bit of coaching with the reserve grade side. Is that an interest, something you'd follow up down the track, maybe potentially that you're on the coast, maybe with Burleigh or with the Titans or anything like
that? Yeah, look, it's something that I was interested in. I certainly had some opportunities to coach after my career was finished, but it sort of got to the stage where Angie had followed me around the world, so it was time to say, okay, what do you want to do? And it was time to come home. So I brushed all the coaching stuff off. But funnily enough, this year was the first year I stepped back into coaching and did a little bit. I was assistant coach of the Burleigh Bears and 18s team, the Melbourne Inca Cup. We played one game, we lost, and they cancelled the season. So, mate, my coaching career is not great.
Next year. So anyway, 0-1 was it? Just say
next year. Next year, you can only improve on that.
Yeah, exactly. You could only improve on that. So, well, mate, it's been a real pleasure to have you on the show. So, really appreciate giving us your time, as I said, to look at what you're able to achieve and do and to show a lot of rugby league players from around here. Obviously, the opportunities that are there if you're willing to work hard and you're willing to take the hits and keep bouncing back. I think you're a great example of that. But I really appreciate you giving us a bit of your time on the show tonight. It's been fun.
My pleasure, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
That's Michael Witt on the
mate.
Semi-Pros. We'll take a break. We're out at the Southern Hotel next.
At the Southern Hotel, our Sunday steak special has been so popular, we want to offer it on Saturday too. 180-gram rump mignon, 400-gram New York cut T-bone, or a huge 500-gram grain-fed rump, all for just $23.95. It's better at the Southern.
Thanks for joining us on the Semi-Pros. Let's head out to the Southern Hotel, our great sponsor. What have we got? This it looks like they're about to go somewhere in the west. Shayne Mogg, how you going?
All right, James. Yourself, mate?
Yeah, good. What's going on? What have we got? Belmont about to go there behind you on the big screen.
Yeah, last leg of the quad.
Last in Belmont, get on.
Last leg of the quad. What have you got, Steve?
I was out long ago.
No, I've got no volume for you, Steve. You can't hear you. Sorry, brother.
Well, Steve, guests can't hear Steve. That's something's going on here tonight. Well, Moggy, what's happening first week back at the Southern with the restrictions have been eased?
Restrictions, everything's going really well for us. The support that we've been shown from our locals and those who are keen to get out and actually have a dine-in meal has been great. We're booking out pretty quickly, so if you are keen to get in for a meal, please make sure you're ringing up at least 3 or 4 days in advance, because the bookings are just flying.
Okay, but the other option is there's still the takeaway, etc., like that. People can still take advantage of.
100%. Still doing the takeaways. You still get those delivered or come in and pick them up and see the friendly crew here at the Southern, and still doing the deliveries through the Bottle Mart app online too as well for the takeaway liquor.
Yeah, so plenty of ways to take advantage of that. But it must have been good to see some of the regulars back this week.
It sort of puts a bit of a smile on the face to see a few of the friendly faces that you're used to seeing day in and day out. When you haven't seen someone for 6 or 8 weeks, you sort of wonder how they're coping with everything. And, it's good to be able to have a yarn to them. And here, for the most part, most people have done pretty well throughout the isolation.
Okay, so, but again, as you said, if people want to book, they should do that, obviously, with a good couple of days in advance, obviously just with the restrictions that exist, of course, with the social distancing. Now, Jag the Joker, tell us about it. We're going to try and Jag the Joker again tonight.
Yeah, mate, we're still going. We're still chasing the elusive Joker. We've only had the 2 cracks at it, so we've given away the $2 $25 Southern Hotel Bar 839 vouchers. So we've got another go at it this evening. If you manage to find the Joker in the cards that are left there, you score yourself a $50 Bar 839 voucher for when we reopen. Failing that, a consolation prize of the $25 voucher.
Okay, so what do I got to do? Let's see, who'd we pick out as our lucky player this week? So we just choose someone. So there's the board, so you'll see it there. So we've got, here we go. I'll have to give this one here. He's got a comment here that Joel will dislike. The comment he made, though, was Para suck. Lewis Bannigan.
Lewis Bannigan, smart man.
So he's
got no idea.
Lewis, there you go. Have a look. There's the board. So you need to choose what row number and what card number to choose, and then Moggy will turn it over. And if you Jag the Joker, you get a $50 voucher from the Southern. If not, it'll be a $25 voucher. So we just need you to put up on the screen there. So if you can type in the comments section what card you want turned over. So
pretty safe to say with that comment, it probably won't be a blue or a yellow pin.
Yeah, so I think that might help him as well. So we'll see what one he wants to turn over. So that's what we're doing each week. So the opportunity for one of our viewers to win $50 voucher if they can Jag the Joker, $25 voucher, of course, if they miss out. We've had 2 so far, Chris Tate, and as well as we had Joel Seavey last week. What's Lewis doing? He's dragging the chain there. So, right, I'll tell you what, because he's made that comment, Joel, you can pick the card for him. How about we roll with that? So
that'll do. All right, that'll do. He's back on now. No, he says Louis joined. He's back on now.
Righto. So he's got to pick
Come on, Louis. Cough it up, mate.
So we need to know which row and which card for him to select, and we'll turn it over and we'll see what one it's going to be and see what we can win. So $25 you can pick up, or $50.
He's got 10 seconds, I reckon. Otherwise, I'm going to pick it for him.
Righto. All right. So he's got to choose which way he's going to go. So you're going to give him the 10-second countdown. Otherwise, it diverts. Joel's going to make the selection on his behalf. So here we go.
Here we go.
Golly, Jag the Joker. You'd have to go. He'd have to sling you $25 of the voucher, wouldn't you, Joel?
You'd surely. Mate, he says top 3 from the left.
So what, top row? So 3 and...
Top row, 3 from the left.
Oh, yeah, right.
He's gone for a blue. He's gone for a Parramatta colour. This can't be good.
This is it.
Oh, the 3.
That's a $25 voucher for joining in and jumping in live. Come in through the drive-through and collect that one from myself tomorrow, anytime after 1 p.m. And look, once the doors are open, you obviously get to have a few schooners or a meal on us for joining in and watching the boys.
He wants to know, can he get it in tab tickets?
Oh, geez, I tell you what, if I could, I would. But no, unfortunately, there's some regulations around that don't allow us to do that.
With good reason.
We asking you to get pokey coins one day. So.
He doesn't. Louis hates a good time anyway, so he won't need a drink.
Yeah.
We get the leg guitar out.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll be right. So no, you can't get it in tab tickets. So that's but he'll drop in and pick it up there. So we do it. So mate, we do it each week. So what's happening this weekend? You got any specials, or what should people pick up if they want to come in for a meal?
Mate, so we're just running our 6 of the best all day, every day specials that we do run through as per normal. So, look, honestly, I don't think you can go too far past the pork ribs. They're pretty special. I reckon they're the best pork ribs in town. So, if you're after a nice hearty feed in this cold weather, come in and give the chef's homemade ribs a go.
Righto, so the ribs, that's the way to go. Righto, Moggy, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. We'll see if we can jag the Joker. So there you go. So Shayne Mogg joining us from the Southern Hotel. Don't forget our Jag the Joker each week. So if they stay online and choose. So Louis Bannigan was our winner this week. So he's picked up $25 there. Pop in and see the team out there at the Southern Hotel. Do a great job. Great feed. We've been out there many a time. So look forward to getting out there again. Okay. Southern Hotel shot clock, boys. What do we got this week? So got a few questions here. Best player or team that never won a championship. So that's overall. So the great where I got the inspiration, I suppose, from the question we were talking before with Michael Witt, and you look at that. Sorry, it's more the next question, but you're looking at just the players that never won a championship. Great players. Karl Malone's name popped up before. He's probably what prompted the question when I was looking at it earlier, actually. So one of the greats of the NBA, never won a title. Charles Barkley. We're looking at a few of these guys through that Jordan series that we've all been captivated by. That he denied the chance to win a championship. Some real Hall of Fame players. I think I read a stat the other day, 20-something Hall of Fame famous that he knocked out of championships. So who's the best individual or a best team that never won anything, never won a premiership? Steve?
Yeah, well, I was going to add in the combination, the Malone, but his other side of that. So the Stockton and Malone. Which, so running through their stats, they played 18 seasons together. They've made playoffs all 18 seasons. 10 seasons they won 50 games. 3 seasons they won 60 games in there. So, and arguably they're the best combination of the best executor of a two-man game to ever play the game. Probably ever will be. So the typical small man, big man, run off a pick and roll, and they were just unstoppable. But well, to a point until Jordan did stop them, I guess. So, but. Would have been deserved, yeah. And to do that and be so consistent, you see the other teams have a run of 2 or 3 years where their window's open, but have an 18-year window and not get any breeze through there. It's pretty pretty harsh.
Yeah, no, good point. Troy?
I was thinking the same, similar lines as Steve, Stockton Malone, but I'll go the other bloke who was in career best form for a few years there. The round mound of rebound, big Charles Barkley. He had a couple of cracking seasons, but fell at the final hurdle as well of Jordan and the Bulls. And obviously he had those couple of years that Barkley had. People were calling him an MVP. Oh, he might have got the MVP one.
He won the MVP that year, 93. Yeah.
So and then Jordan came out just to. I think that was his way of getting going, was just showing that he wasn't the MVP. So, Charles Barkley for me.
Righto. So I'm a little bit closer to home. Wally Lewis, the king, never won a premiership, did he? And I know his window, like Steve talked about before, his window in the NRL or ARL or New South Wales Rugby League, whatever it was called, was probably fairly narrow. I think he played what was Broncos 88, a couple of seasons there, then a couple of seasons at the Gold Coast. So he probably had a limited window, but still, when you think of the king who did everything in the game and statues and played for Australia, dominated State of Origin, he doesn't seem quite right that he doesn't have a premiership to his name. He won one in the Brisbane Rugby League, didn't he, with Winner Manly, I think. So,
Wynnum would for sure.
He'd be the only immortal, wouldn't he? That wouldn't have a premiership problem.
Yeah, probably.
Pretty close, yeah.
So for me, it's the King, Wally. Joel, you're with us. You can hear everyone.
I can hear everyone now, boys.
Right.
Yeah, from King Wally to King Hindy, mate, for me, 330 NRL games, 17 Origin, 23 tests, 2 times to the big dance, 2 times come up short. It was obviously one of my favourite players of all time, Hindy, and just a tackling machine. There's plenty of them in that era, I suppose, or just the era before it. Talk about Pearce and Eddinghausen, some great players that didn't win one. But I caught a poll just the other day, and Hindy topped the poll, so that's good enough for me.
It's a flopper.
Hindy, so there's a couple of people that didn't win at championships, or didn't win the ultimate prize in sport. So similar question here, but more on an individually dominant tournament or season or whatever it may be, without getting the ultimate prize at the end. So, and where the inspiration of this one came from, and it might pop up for Joel or bring up some bad memories, was that Parramatta team, obviously, that dominated. So a team, or if there was an individual that went through a Wimbledon tournament or something like that and then didn't win. So which team or individual had the best season or tournament but didn't end up with the ultimate prize at the end? There's a few that could pop up here. How good's the research been tonight too? This has been fantastic. Steve, what have you researched for us here? What have you got here?
Yeah, not much on this one, but it nearly has to be the Warriors 73. Greatest season ever in history, and then get
yeah. Do you want me to give you some stats? I'm on that same page. So
you do some stats.
Roll them out.
If you like.
Go on.
Well, 73-9, weren't they? That was how they finished the season, I think, from memory, wasn't it? So the winningest record in history. They broke 25 NBA records during that season, 10 franchise records. And not only that, they were up 3-1. So, won the most, probably not surprisingly, won the most games any team has ever won across an entire season, so season and post-season with the amount of games that they won, but they didn't. Rion Hitchinus against the Shakes, and this comes up, I'm sure he does, as a mad Warriors man. So, but yeah, you'd have to say them. I said all the records. Steph Curry won MVP. They had 3 All-Stars. Kerr got Coach of the Year. They won everything, but what mattered most, unfortunately, for Warriors fans that season. So that always, unfortunately, the most dominant season in NBA history has a pretty big asterisk next to its name. So I'm the same as Steve. Troy?
I'll go with the NRL. I want to go Joel's Eels, but we'll leave them alone. Manly, 1995 Manly team. Yep. Talk about coming out of the blocks, 15-0. Manly were that year.
Good
best start to an NRL season ever. They ended up winning 22, but got to the big dance, and the Doggies nailed them. I think it was 17-4 or 17-3 or something like that. But the Doggies are nailed them. But to go 15-0, it's unheard of, isn't it? 15-0 straight up. Probably went to cruise control for a while, get ready for finals, and probably would have been old Alan Lamb, wouldn't it? I'm not Alan Lamb, Terry Lamb and Terry Lamb and his Bulldogs.
Yeah, so that happened a few times to Manly though, didn't it? In that period of time, they won a few as well, Mike.
Steve's blokes got them that other year.
That's what I mean. There's a few seasons there where they were dominant. Righto, Joel, you going to give us your Eels of that year or what? 2001,
mate. The heartbreak that I'll never ever get over. Grade 4, I remember Witty was playing, like you said, the under-18s, must have been the Jersey Flegg or the SC Ball. I'd sat on the couch. This was back in the days where you could watch every game. Sat on the couch from about midday, had the old Eels, me and my old man, just Eels set up going on everywhere. And, what a season that was. I remember letting off balloons in the afternoon because we were about to win the big one. And, mate, when we went down, I think from round 6, Para never lost a game until the grand finals. It was something unbelievable. Like that, I've got their points difference here in front of me. So we finished top of the table, 20 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses, with a points difference of plus 433. Canterbury Bulldogs finished second, plus 79. The next closest, obviously, the Knights, they won the comp. They finished third with plus 143. The next closest was Bronx in fifth, plus 185. So we just smashed everyone that year and just belted them. Like it was just the biggest. I don't know what price they were. I was obviously 8 or 9 year old, so I wasn't on the punt back then. But in terms of, what could have been? Gee whiz.
You would have got $10 after about 20 minutes of that game too.
Yeah, you would have, mate. Half time down 24-0. Joey Johnson.
That was the first night final, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I'm putting it down to. What a side, though. Gee whiz, like you run through a few of those names like Kalis and Taylor and Brett Hodgson, some quality players there.
Wasn't that as well? That was when the old professor Brian Smith was at one stage there. He took like a bloke off the field sort of to play with 12 just in case they got in that scenario and all that sort of stuff. Like
yeah. That's right. That whole season, mate. He was the perennial bridesmaid, old Smithy, wasn't he? He'd get to the big dance with the Roosters and he'd choke and did it again with the Eels. And anyway, I'll never get over it. That's for sure. I remember crying my eyes to sleep that night and never seen him go any closer.
Righto, let's change topic. Southern Hotel shot clock. Greatest sporting career cut short by injury or limited by injury. There's been a few here that injuries unfortunately cruelled what would have potentially been an amazing career. Steve, who are you going to lead us off with?
Yeah, I'll go with, we've seen the Jordan last dance over the last few weeks, and a guy that was heavily touted coming out of Duke. I believe he did. Grant Hill come out and absolutely, he was on the back end of that Pistons team after the era where the bad boys sort of moved on. Isaiah Thomas was on the back end. He got drafted there and he come out and absolutely dominated the first couple of years that Jordan was out of the league. I think he come on average 20.6 boards, 5 assists, I think, straight out of college. And then got to the point where he was, they were in finals games, and then he just had ankle dramas. And that pretty much cut short right at the peak of his career. I think the early 2000s when you see the old Grant Hill drink Sprite was all over the ad. And he was the next superstar, had all the big deals. That's all the big companies wanted to be him or wanted to have him on their roster. Yep. And unfortunately, I don't think he still had a fantastic career, come back and did win a championship. I think it might have been with Detroit. Was it when they did that with Rip Hamilton and those guys come back and when they
beat the Lakers.
The old guard. Come back and that. So he picked up a championship, and he was a solid player, but like he could have just been one of those guys that dominated the league there, but he probably missed his best 4 years or injury-riddled 4 years. So Grant Hill drinks Sprite.
Troy?
I'm going to go with Jarrell Yee. Oh, Yippee-Yee. He come on the scene and I think he made Origin in his first, not even in his first season, full season. He played Origin, played for the Kangaroos, had it all in front of him, and then got that career-ending injury, that terrible one where he snapped his ankle. And it was terrible. Poor fellow. He tried to come back, and I think in the end they gave him a run give him a send-off, give him a game in the forwards there, I think, for a game or two, give him a send-off. But, it was hard to watch for a bloke who had so much speed and could find the line like he could on the wing. Cut down in his prime. He was old Jarrell,
Excellent. Just had a quick comment pop up there from Brian Simpson. Said he's enjoying the show. He's an isotope on the weekend. Be on.
What price, Brian?
He's an isotope.
240, I think.
Yeah, it was
230 and
Rothfire.
Yeah, okay.
Good race.
So get on isotope. Actually, we'll talk to Brian. We're going to get him on the show. Actually, we spoke with Michael Witt before about his journey, and Brian Simpson's another guy that Troy were talking about the other day. So some incredible things.
Good to get him on.
Yeah, so we might try to get him on next week. Actually, I don't know if we've got anyone lined up for next week. We'll try to get him on actually, and then the following week is a Stradbroke and Gibbo. Blair Gibson's going to join us that week too. So that's the following week. So if Brian's still on, see what you're doing next Thursday this time. We'll see if we can get you on the show. All right, now. Joel, who have you got for us with the in the
mate? I'm going to the NBA for this one. Brandon Roy, remember him? He was Rookie of the Year in 2006, 2007, just an absolute superstar. I think for about 3 years there, I think there was only one player that was probably better than him. That was LeBron. Shot at an absolute freakish clip, like 50% sort of field goal rates, 4,500 points, 1,200 assists, 1,000 rebounds. So, 25 and 5 sort of stat line. Just an absolute freak. And then obviously for 3 years, just making all the NBA All-Star teams and the points he was putting up, and then bust his knees, the big fella. And then he tried to make I think it was a 24-year-old. So, to be compared to the likes of LeBron at that sort of stint in his career, and then right in his prime, bang, shot down in the knees. And I think he tried to make a few comebacks for the Mavs and the Timberwolves, I think. Played a couple of games for them, but it was just never the same sort of what might have been for the big fella, Brandon Roy.
Yeah, good play. I was on a similar vein. I nearly changed my mind a few times. There's a few that popped under my head, but I'll go with what I originally said was Derrick Rose. Probably going to end up in that same bracket. Like Steve talked about with Grant Hill, where you go from MVP, absolute superstar caliber to being just a really good, solid player, and as a result of injuries. I think what Derrick Rose did, MVP level player and freakish to, and has only been until the last few years where he's come back now and he's a solid starter in the NBA. Whereas I said prior to that, he was just he was in the top echelon of superstars. So I'm going to go with Derrick Rose. We talked about Michael Jordan. We talked about the docu-series, which was all wrapped up this week. Hasn't it created a bit of tension in general, both positive, negative? Pippen's dirty on it. Horace Grant's
filthy.
Wow, a bit going on there all over the place. But we looked through that and we watched the journey there of Jordan, particularly in that last season. But we also saw the history of the Bulls right from, since Jordan was drafted, essentially. So the question we ask here is, who was his most underrated teammate? Like, you watch that series, of course, we saw all about Pippen, we saw all about Jordan, obviously, Dennis Rodman, the core guys there that got most of the attention when it comes to the fame, I suppose, or the leading lights. But there was plenty of glue guys there, I guess, or guys that made up the numbers. In his career, who was his most underrated teammate that he ever had? Steve, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'll kick us off. I don't know. I had a few lines of thought here, like your B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, Steve Kerr, because the way Jordan played, he wasn't predominantly. He was a pull-up jumper shooter, and he needed those sort of guys to be able to spread the floor. Like, if they didn't have shooters, he couldn't get to those spots without just people all over him, double teams, all that sort of thing. But I couldn't split them, so I went with Ron Harper. Harper was the guard, and on the flip side, Jordan dominated on the offensive end and was a gun defender himself. But you can't play night in, night out, defend the best player, and be the go-to man on the offensive end too. So I reckon Ron Harper, he was a lockdown defender. He could shut anybody down and just slipped into his role and took the pressure off the defensive end, and Jordan could do what he wanted to do. So, Ronnie.
Yeah, good one. Troy?
Dennis Rodman for me. He still gets a bit of the limelight, but he was all-time defender. Like, people are talking about him now. When they're bringing this up now, they're talking about him, the top couple of defenders, top couple of rebounders, and just played above his size. Like, what did we say the other day? What was he, 6'7" or something? 6'8".
Yeah.
Like, he played like a 7-footer, didn't he? Like, he could mark anyone on the court. He could D up against anyone. You could D him up against a guard, D him up against a center, and he'd do a job. And the rebounds that he pulled down, he just wanted the ball more than most, didn't he? And especially on the offensive end too, he pulled down plenty. So yeah, Rodman for me. If they didn't have Rodman, they wouldn't have won any of those three without him, with what he did.
How wild was the story this week where he's left and gone wrestling?
I've forgotten about that. How good.
Yeah.
Smashing
when he rocks up on the wrestling
honestly,
show, okay?
Just didn't turn up the next day to training. It just went
Well, they had to do it mid-finals. Like,
and then
after game 3, whatever it was. Yeah. So
good on him. What a beast.
Yeah. Joel, who you running with most underrated?
Yeah. Like we sort of just said, Pippen is the second best player in the league, for a long chunk of it. And of course, Rodman, you got plenty of hype with what he did. So in terms of underrated, I'm on the same sort of vein as Steve in terms of, that John Paxson in the earlier years and then Steve Kerr. But what gave me the edge for Steve Kerr was, he learned off the guys like Paxson and that, he sort of actively sought out and knew his role and sort of went under the wings of these guys and sort of said to him, what do I need to do to be MJ's go-to guy? 95, he's punching up with Jordan, and then all of a sudden the ball's coming to him, and what was it, 97, game 6, wasn't it? And bang, Steve Kerr wins the game for him. So, to go from, I suppose, a role player, just work your bum off and learn as much as you can and just do your role. He says there, I only get 5 shots a night, so I need to make the most of them, sort of stuff. So for me, that's, knowing your ability and knowing how to sort of make the best fit in the team, I think that's pretty underrated in all of their success.
Yep. No, I was on the same train as Steve with Ron Harper. He was so good with Jordan in the backcourt. He's probably the ultimate role player that's ever been. Remember he played the same role with the Lakers in their success seasons, and no surprise, the coach there was Phil Jackson. So I'll flip the script a little bit and I'll say the most underrated was Phil Jackson, because of all the reasons we just said there, like to keep all that. Dennis Rodman he had some okay seasons after Chicago, but he was never the same player outside of that system. And obviously, because Phil...
Well, he went to the Lakers too and they turfed him.
Yeah.
He went to Spurs.
Yeah.
Spurs, he was at Dallas. He just
but I meant,
it never
he followed
worked.
Jackson, and it didn't work for him, so they got rid of him.
It never worked. Post that, he was okay at the Lakers, but definitely didn't work at the Mavs. That's, I think, his last landing spot, and that just ended up a disaster. But the way Phil controlled all of that and put up with, or just realised Dennis was, as Dennis sort of says in that documentary, Phil understood that he had to let Dennis be Dennis. So, and it just worked. So he couldn't win one when Doug Collins was there. So Phil Jackson, I think, has to take a big role in this, and also just controlling the whole scenario with everything. A lot of turmoil in that season as well, wasn't there? Which we've seen in this series with Jerry Krause and
yeah,
all the carry-ons. So, but yeah, there's a few you could pick from, but it was an awesome series. I don't want to digress quickly, but I'm keen on your opinion on this now. A couple of times we brought up Pippen was the second best player in the league at that time. True or false?
True.
Some good players.
False. I'd say it's top 5.
False.
He wasn't top 2. Geez, Akeem Olajuwon was pretty handy, wasn't he?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got your Malones, we talked about before, Stockton's.
Malone,
look at
Ewing.
Look at that Ewing.
Barkley.
Steve, what do you reckon?
Yeah, no, he's always needed somebody around him. Good player, real good, but he's not going to go out there. A different sort of player, though. He's a player that's going to help create for other people. He's not going to be going to go out there and, righto, it's time to drop 40. He's not going to switch it on like that. He sort of works around. He's like your Draymond Green is now. He's not going to go out there. He'll never be a stud wherever he goes. He'll never be the stud, the number one player, but he's always going to be solid and a potential triple-double every night. But
what's Draymond, Steve? Your poor man's version of Scottie Pippen?
He pretty much is, yeah. He slots in and he helps the others get what they need to get. So that's what Pippen did to Jordan. So,
mind you, he had that year that Jordan didn't play, he put up some pretty decent numbers that year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Solid ass.
Yeah.
So
But
he took
again, as
over
you
and
said,
said, I'm the
in
man,
that-
but still couldn't do it, though, could he?
In that facilitating role, he was just such a good all-round player. So he was such a good defender. He obviously had size at his position, and he was. But yeah, he's sort of, apparently he's dirty on the series as well, because except for that last game where they show him fighting through the pain of the back injury, he's probably painted out as being a little bit precious or selfish. Well, what's your take on that game there? So where Phil draws up the play and says, "We're going to, Scotty, you're inbound. Incoore coach is going to." What I found interesting, right? So he did what he did back then. Said, "Well, I'm not playing. I'm the most dangerous player on the team. It's an insult not to give me the ball." The fact that he says, even now, how many years later, he'd do it again.
It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
In the team system, it's a disgrace. Yeah.
Not a team player.
Well, he's lucky. He's lucky. We've all played in the team, so he's lucky the blokes wanted to actually play for him after pull himself out of the game.
We're just not playing. I'm out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm talking cricket's perspective. That it's a bit different, but I'd like to hear what Steve thinks on come from the basketball perspective.
Oh, well, you'd sit out again. Kukoc made the shot, so of course you'd sit out again.
What would any of the coaches you play with, what would they have done afterwards, or down the track?
Oh, now that the way it played out, then you'd happily sit off. But generally you'd go in and whatever. I think he copped that spray from, what was his name? Bill
Cartwright.
Cartwright, yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you what, he's a fair lump of a human too. So him giving him a spray would have been good.
Good clip under the ears from him.
Yeah, he copped that, and no doubt he probably would make a different decision. But Kukoc made the shot. He's probably the right guy to make the shot.
That's what feels the coach.
History turns out, it was a great call.
But as I said, he said in that commentary, he said, "Would I do it again?" He said, "Yeah." Would he change it? He said, "No." He said he wouldn't change it.
It's what he was thinking at the time, so he may as well ride it. Live and die by the sword, I suppose. So he just thinks, "Oh well, it's what I felt at the time. What I'd probably do it again. Yeah, probably would."
I don't know. Anyway, it's been compelling viewing, that's for sure. It's created plenty of chatter. That's a look at Southern Hotel.
What a great documentary, though.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was really
Best
good.
of all time, I reckon.
So, and the fact they're still talking about it, post it, and everything else that's come with it, and some were happy, some weren't happy, and what I find interesting, I shouldn't say interesting, but it shouldn't be surprising as well, is I love the end where Jordan basically said that if he had the chance to run it back one more time and ever go for a seventh, he would have. Like if they turned around and said, "Yeah, 1 year," he'd take another 1 year deal. The other players would they come back and he believed he would have won it again?
Too, I reckon. Like he said, like Steve Kerr and all those guys, they're not going to go for one more and get the payday after it. Scottie Pippen, he's like, if we're all there, Scotty would be there.
So on $2 million, easy for Jordan to say. He had half the team's salary. He's on $34 million.
And all the sponsorship to go with it.
He was on $34 million, and Pippen and these guys are running around on $2 million and less.
Worth every penny too.
Yeah, true. You probably say, well, you want to win it.
Poor buggers only making $2 million a year.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
It's a travesty.
Exactly. Like you wouldn't play for that money, would you? Like it's just an insult. So. But yeah, anyway, so I'm sure we'll talk more about it as time proceeds. Let's take a break on the semi-pros. Coming back, we'll wrap things up with the Hogan's Family Jewelers Rocks or Diamonds, and we'll see if we can find you a winner for the weekend.
Hi guys, Lockie here from Hogan's Family Jewelers. Today we're looking at how you select a perfect diamond. We need to consider the 4 C's: cut, colour, clarity, and carat weight. In terms of discussing the cut of a diamond, we need to consider the aspects of the qualities of cut. At Hogan's, we only source triple excellent cut diamonds. In terms of colour, we look for the perfect white stone. We source stones from a D through to a G in colour, the top 4 colour gradings. Clarity is another really important factor in selecting your diamond. We don't want to look at the diamond every day and see inclusions or marks in the stones that distract from the beauty of the piece. The final of the 4 C's is carat weight. A lot of people believe that a diamond's value is based just on its carat weight. This isn't truly the case. It's a combination of all the 4 C's put together. There's one final hidden factor that I need to discuss about finding the perfect diamond. It's called fluorescence. When she wears the ring in natural sunlight, UV light, where the diamond is supposed to sparkle at its optimum level, you don't want any reaction. You don't want the diamond to go foggy or a milky colour or even a little neon blue sort of tinge through the diamond. This is why we only sell nil fluorescence diamonds and make sure that diamond stays crystal clear whether you're indoors or outdoors. There'll be no reaction to natural sunlight. Fluorescence is one of the largest factors of devaluing a diamond. Be careful. Out there you might find diamonds that seem cheap, but truly they're going to be cheap for a reason. At Hogan's, we prefer our clients to experience superior quality diamonds. We only source the highest grade of GIA certified diamonds. That's the Gemological Institute of America, the harshest grading lab in the world. Some of you may have done some research on diamonds before and may fully understand the 4 C's. But if not, we've got knowledgeable staff that will help you and guide you through selecting the perfect diamond. At the end of the day, it's all about quality, and at Hogan's, we prefer quality.
At Hogan's, they prefer quality. Hogan's Family Jewelers present our rocks and diamonds. This week, our topic, we saw the evolution of the Air Jordan basketball shoe throughout that series. So I thought, what better to talk about? Best and worsts, rocks and diamonds. Best and worst of the signature shoe or the sports shoe range. So I'm going to go to each, go individually, and we can talk about different bests and worsts, or even if you have just a best or just a worst, whatever way you want to play the game. Suits me just fine. Steve, start with you. Best and worst or best or something? Anything?
The worst one I had, because I ripped through 8 pairs of these that kept falling apart, were the Adidas KB8s with the big knobbly balls on the bottom of them. They were absolutely horrid. That was when Kobe started playing.
Yeah.
And no wonder he didn't stay learning with Adidas too much. They were garbage. But I don't know. From the best one, it was scary when I gone through and thinking about how many pairs of shoes. I used to probably wear 4 or 5 or 6 sets in a season over 16 weeks. So
yeah,
had a good go. But of the Jordans, and had a squillion of these too. I think had the Jordan 14s in white and Ferrari red, which were pretty decent sneaker, and that's when all the tech was really starting to get on and go up. But I'll tell you what, I'd like to slip into a pair of whatever we're up to, Jordan 38s or 404s or whatever, because I think I've been rolling around in the old 23s, I think it is, Jordan 23s, and they were a nice sneaker and a bit more cushion for the larger lads.
I'm going to give yourself a pair then.
Try and ease a bit of pain in the joints. So, yeah.
What are these ones? We've got a few, the Jordans that are popping up on the screen now.
They're about 4, I think, aren't
Yeah.
they?
No, they're not 4s, mate. I'll be talking about 4s.
Righto, go, you're on.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? Steve says Jordan 14s, and I'm going to say Jordan 4s. Showing the age a bit, I suppose. So yeah, when I'm back playing in the old school days, Jordan 4s, they're all the rage. Jordan 4s, they're a great shoe. Had myself a nice little pair there. Used to polish them up all the time, and yeah, so the old Jordan 4s or the Nike Flight 89s, they're a good set too back in the day. So I see they're all coming back too. They're all getting advertised, coming back at the moment with all the stuff going on. Worst. The Dunlop K26s. You remember that? Back, like Steve's dad would have worn them. Oh, Kenny would have rocked a pair of Dunlop K26s back in his day. But I remember we come out and played. We're playing a game, a trial game for the Aussie team. We're playing this Aussie junior team. Young bloke from Toowoomba, Brenton Gay. There they are, the Dunlop K26s. Brenton Gay playing for the Australian 19s has rocked out in a new pair of Dunlop K26s. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. So, yeah.
What I like about them, you see the old fellas that still get around in them, but like their legs are that worn down. They've got like a 6-inch pad on the bottom of one of them. So looks like one of them's wearing a clog. The old Dutch clog on one foot and the old D26 on the other. A very versatile boot.
And then I think they upgraded to Velcro after that, didn't they?
Yeah, I know. Coming to Velcro options too.
Oh, Joel, what do you got? What are you rocking for the sneakers conversation?
Mate, I've never owned a pair of Jordans myself. Obviously not a young hoop star like you lads.
You're the only person in the world.
Yeah, probably. I just wasn't up with the hip and the happening, like you boys. But I'll tell you what, the worst pair of Jordans I've ever seen were the Roy Jones Jr. Jordan boxing boots. Les Sherrington, when he first came to Smithy's gym, rocked a pair of them. They were black.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Work boots. Have a look at these steel caps he's got on. So the old Roy Jones Jr. Air Jordan, whatever the hell they were. They look like steel caps. And
they were 11s, weren't they? They would have been the Space Jam. I don't know. I remember seeing
Space Jam would have been around 11s. Yeah,
Space Jam were 9s. The 11s had the curve down the side. I'm pretty sure that was the boxing boot they made out. So
yeah, so they'd be the Roy Jones Jr. ones. And yeah, there's got like the jump man on the side with like the bit of a. That's them.
Yeah, that's the 11s. Yeah.
You had some 11s, didn't you, Steve?
No, that's no, that's not. Because I'm rock. When you get to my favourites are the 11s and the 12s. The 12s were the ones. I think they might be anyway. But the 11s were the ones with the shiny bit around the bottom side. Then the 12s are the ones that I've still got a pair now that I wear just with the he wore in the flu game. Yeah, that season. When was that? 97. So Jordan, Zach, if you put in Air Jordan 11 and 12, you bring them up, you see which ones I'm rocking. So I reckon there's been some awesome Jordans, but there's been some ugly ones too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the 15s, the thing that had that like little pointy bit that you stuck your foot in.
So here we go. So now there's you can see the white and the black ones there. That's the that one not that one. No, above. Yep. They're low cut ones out there, but that's the 12, and then the 11 was that's the 11 there. Sorry, apologies. So that's the Air Jordan 11. I reckon now the best two. That the 11s and the 12s, and they came in all the different colours. You can get that as well, sort of thing like that. So I said I've still got a pair of the 12s. 12s are the ones he wore in the first championship against Utah. So I said the flu game and things like that. So, but yeah, there's been some pretty cool Jordans over the years. But as I said, there's been some pretty wild ones as well, I have to say. Some that are even probably the ones he wore. There you go. There they are. One's on the top there. The couple of shoes popping up there for those that are watching on our Facebook. So all sorts of different shoes there that pop up.
Tell you the good signature one that I was going to run as my diamond was the obviously being a soccer boy, David Beckham. You know, the Adidas Predator.
Yep.
They were massive back in the day. Craig Johnson, the Aussie, played for Liverpool. He designed them and put them on the rack. But the ones in 2006, I had a pair of these myself. 2006 Adidas Predator that Beckham wore at the World Cup. Like this blue with like 3 lines on it for like the English crest.
Yep.
Were they the ones that had the stuff on the front which got the actual
curve on the front?
Goal, was that it?
Yeah, those blue ones right there. Bang. They had like a weight in the bottom of them. See underneath the front of the foot there, the little gold thing? Yeah, there was like a weight at the front of it so you could get underneath the ball more and hit it and curve it a bit more. But yeah.
Good help you. You're a goal kick, weren't you, mate?
I was, mate, yeah. Curling it from the back, mate, around onto the halfway line. Areas, brother, areas. Those ones there, the Beckham's 2006 Predators. Sensational boot.
So there's our rocks and diamonds. I'm sure plenty of other people got plenty of thoughts on what was the best and worst when it comes to sports shoes. We actually had a few comments come up on our Facebook page. Just the show's running way out of time now, so I won't go into them. There's quite a few that popped up when I put this post up earlier in the week, actually. There's some pretty cool ones that emerged. I think Kieran Wagstaff, remember, he had the pumps. Jason Gibbs had the worms. Was Dennis Rodman. He even had a shoe. So we had those. There was quite a few. The
gloves, the GP2s.
Yeah. Air pennies. I love them. A pair of them as well. The Air pennies, 1s and 2s. They were good.
Pairs of them.
They were good shoes. The old Air pennies.
They were.
Pippins. You ever have a pair of them? Yeah, Pippins.
Nah.
Yeah, had a pair of those about grade 9, I think. So that was around that time when Pippin started getting his own shoe line.
The Foam Closet had a couple pair of them.
Shacknosis.
Yeah, them.
Shacknosis.
Anyway.
They were a pretty ordinary looking boot, actually. I didn't mind them. Didn't mind the old Shacknosis.
The Sean Kemp Kamikaze. All the good ones.
That was a wild sort of. Jason Kidd, remember he had his shoe with the little
with the little opal on the side.
Yeah, that wasn't the bad pair of them.
There we are.
Nike Cortez, weird looking dogs, right? It's a good meat.
There you go, eh?
Anyway, so that's our rocks and diamonds. With thanks to Hogan's Family Jewelers. Thanks to Lockie Hogan and the team there from Hogan's Family Jewelers. Pop down and see the team there for all your jewelry needs. Righto, let's see if we can. What about the torpedoes? Padded tights to stop leg cracks. It's not a shoe, but yeah, that works okay. The old torpedoes. Good to see. He got his $25 voucher and he's still on there. How good's that? Got a new fan. Let's see if this. He'll come in. He'll chime in here. He'll surely have a winner for us. I think he wanted to change his voucher to a tab ticket. But anyway, let's see if we can find a winner for Hogan's Family Jewelers. So let's find a few diamonds. Let's find a few winners. So what have we got this week? Who wants to kick us off with the winner?
I'll kick us off here, boys. This is a dynamite duo that is fresh back on the scene and flying. Peter Moody. He's back.
Yeah.
He's his first winner when he come back. Shepherd, race 1, Flemington, number 7. It's a heavy 9 at the moment. This thing just loves the wet. I reckon it's a pretty fair horse. This one impressively third up last start. It's $4. Worth a bet again, I think. The way the Moody Nolan combo, they know how to win a few races and back and firing from the outset. That'll do for me. Race 1, number 7, Shepherd.
Race 1, number 7, Shepherd. Troy, winner?
I got to stick at Eagle Farm. Eagle Farm race 5, number 2, Defence Missile. Doesn't mind a bit of sting out of the track. I think there's a bit of rain around. Getting $10 at the moment, so didn't show much the last couple of starts, but I think it'll relish the wet ground. Defence Missile, $10, get in.
Steve, winner, on fire of late.
Yeah, dude. I'm going away from home this time, and I'm going to go for the perennial non-winner who's now an absolute winning.
It'll win again
freak.
this weekend.
So see.
And exactly, it's in no harder race. Probably get a wet track down at Flemington. And I was on it. I had it in the quaddie last start. Ended up winning by 3.25. It lost 3 lengths at the top of the turn.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a run and copped a massive check. And I thought, you're kidding, this is done. And it come out, hit the line, and absolutely savaged it. So I don't know what they've got into it, the Hayes Dabening team, but $4.80. Tell you what, that's a nice price. About Sosi Bon in the 8th at Flemington.
So Sibon, righto. So
You got a fan there, O'Shea?
Yeah, someone's got your tip last week, James.
His first ever winner, and
in years. So I'm glad you were. Jesus, you'd be well behind, mate, Dan. So you'd be well behind. If you bet each way, you wouldn't be actually. But here we go. So Lewis has got one here. Race 9, horse 15 at Flemington. Master Montaro. He's on it. Look, we got the money last week, so we don't need to bother betting this week. So don't worry about it. I don't know.
Mate, you just told us you had 100 bets tomorrow, so fire one of them at us.
Yeah, I'd like to put something that's on there for a Saturday. So, so it works for both platforms, basically. So I'll go with Eagle Farm, race 4, number 1, Mag Stock. I think it's getting closer. So, it's up to a sort of appropriate distance should suit it. The track shouldn't be any concerns for it. The big wide track's what it needs because it's going to be right at the back and it's going to have to run past all of them to win. Mag Stock, $14 paying as well. Thought we'd get a bit better than that. But anyway, so Eagle Farm race 4, horse 1, Mag Stock is what we're on. So that's the hopeful winners for our followers this weekend. All right. So that's that. Thanks to Hogan's Family Jewelers here as well. So that's our winners for the week. It's been a big show. Great to have Michael Witt on board with us as well earlier, as we said, so we keep endeavouring to get as many guests as we can on to the show during this period of time as well. So good to catch up with some former famous faces from our region and elsewhere. Anyone add? Any other news or anything they want to add going into the weekend, team? Something? Anything? Nothing?
Zero.
Nope.
All right. Have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining us on the Semi-Pros. We'll see you next week.
Just about do, mate. Surely. There you go. That's outstanding. That much talent running around in our own backyard. Ladies and gentlemen, the Semi-Pros. The Semi-Pros. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Let's go.